Hello. Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Yasir Gulfraz, and I'm your tutor for today's session, which is Advanced Business Research Methods Learning Outcome for be able to develop and present a research proposal. So if anyone is there, can you hear me or can you see my screen? Okay, if there is any issue, if anyone is there, then please do let me know if any issues. If you can't hear me or if you can't see my screen. So today we will discuss the process of developing and presenting a research proposal. This is an essential step conducting advanced business research. I hope that by the end of this lecture, you will have a good understanding of how to create a research proposal in simple terms. Firstly, let's understand what a research proposal is. A research proposal is a document that outlines the objectives, methodology, and plan for conducting a research study. It serves as a blueprint or roadmap for your research project. So we'll be covering create a research question, literature review, and methodology. Then proposal techniques for use, the quantitative and qualitative data collection and analysis. Present the proposal using suitable methods. Create a research questions, literature review, and methodology. So here now we are discussing the importance of choosing an appropriate research title for your proposal or dissertation. The research title is critical as it's provide a clear data of what your research is about. It serves as a guidepost for readers, giving them a glimpse into the content and purpose of your study. To illustrate this, I will provide you with a few examples of a good research titles and explain why they are effective choices. As you can see that few examples of good research title: assessment of the relevance of employer, branding in attracting and retaining employees, assessment of the impact of service quality on customer satisfaction, and to study the impact of working capital management on the profitability of SME in UK during the COVID-19 pandemic. So first is an assessment of the relevance of employer branding in attracting and retaining employees. This is the first example. This title clearly indicates that the research will explore the significance of employer branding in the context of employee attraction and retention. It sets the expectations for the reader, making it a good research title. Sorry. Another title is assessment of the impact of service quality on customer satisfaction. So this title immediately tells us that the study will focus on examining how service quality influences customer satisfaction. It is concise and straightforward, making it a strong research title. And last one is to study the impact of working capital management on the profitability of small and medium enterprises in the UK during the COVID pandemic. This title conveys the specific focus of the research, which is to investigate the relationship between working capital management and profitability of small and medium-sized enterprises. in the UK. So specifically during the challenging period of the COVID-19 pandemic, it addressed a relevant and timely topic, making it an effective research title. So selecting a suitable research title is very important for effective communicating the purpose and scope of your study. By following the example we discussed today, you can create research titles that are clear, concise, specific, and engaging. So remember, a well-crafted research title sets the foundation for a successful research project. So choosing research objectives, objective 1, objective 2, objective 3, and objective 4. First one is literature review. Then literature review involves examining existing scholarly works and publications relevant to our research topic. So second one, again, literature review. Moving on our second objective, which is also a literature review. This step involves delivering deeper into the existing literature, but with a specific focus on a different aspect of our research topic. We want to ensure that we explore various perspectives, theories, and methodologies that are relevant to our research objectives. Third one is quantitative and qualitative analysis. Once we have completed our literature review, we will collect data and apply appropriate analytical techniques to examine the research problem more closely. Quantitative analysis involves working with numerical data to identify patterns, correlations, and statistical relationships. Qualitative analysis involves exploring non-numerical data such as interviews or observations to uncover themes, perspectives, and meanings. Then number 4 is research findings. After completing our analysis, we will summarize and interpret the result we obtained from our data. This objective involves organizing and presenting our finding in a clear and concise manners using appropriate visual aids and examples. By effective communication or research findings, we can contribute to the existing body of knowledge and potentially influence future research or decision-making process. Any questions so far, if anyone is there? Okay. Next one is example of research objectives. Here we will discussing a research topic that focuses on the influence of brand equity on customer purchasing decisions, specifically looking at Samsung in the UK. Our research objectives as follow. So in the study of Samsung in the UK. So here are 4 chapters. So first one, to evaluate the importance of branding in product marketing. In this objective, we will examine how branding plays a critical role in promoting and selling products. So objective 2, to analyze the factor impacting consumer purchase intention of mobile phones. Here we will investigate the various factors that influence customers when they are considering purchasing a mobile phone. So to investigate the impact of brand equity on consumer purchase intention of Samsung. In this objective, we will research into the relationship between brand equity and consumer intention to buy Samsung products. And finally, to make recommendations to Samsung about promoting the brand for increasing product purchases. So here we will offer suggestions to Samsung on how they can enhance their brand promotion strategies to boost or increase their product sales. Any question so far, if anyone is there? So research topics and investigation of the impact of brand equity on consumer purchase decision, studies of uh, so literature review. Here we will discuss the different type of sources that are commonly used in academic research, specifically focuses on literature reviews. A literature review is an essential part of any scholarly work as it provides a comprehensive overview of existing research and theories in a particular field. So in a literature review requires a clear selection of sources that have been peer reviewed and are considered reliable within the academic community, are referred journal and articles and conference papers as well edited uh, collections are key sources of understanding current research and theories. Additionally, unreferred papers, trade press publications, and advanced textbooks can provide valuable insight and perspectives. But remember to critically evaluate each source to ensure its relevance and credibility. So literature review, be very sure of the veracity and currency of the literature review you use. Think, what is this telling me? Who wrote it? How old is it? And how does it address my research objective? So this is a very important before using any literature review. It is key to ensure the accuracy and up-to-dateness. Veracity refers to the truthfulness and reliability of the information presented. Currency referred to the timelines of the source. Ask yourself if the information is reliable and aligns with others' credible sources. Authorship. So consider the credibility and experience of the author who wrote it. So who wrote the source and source you are using. Look for authors who are experts in their field, have relevant qualifications, and are affiliated with reputable institutions. How old is it? So age of the source, evaluate the publication, date of the literature, how old is it? Depending on your research topic, it is important to strike a balance between using recent sources and including a seminal or foundational work. And how does it address my research objectives? So examine how the literature addresses your research objectives. Does it provide relevant and meaningful insights that contribute to your research questions? Consider the key finding methodologies employed and the overall relevance of the study to your topic. Any question if anyone is there? Okay, so preparing conceptual framework. As you can see that a conceptual framework is a tool that helps us understand complex ideas by breaking them down into simpler components in consist of purpose, concepts, variables, relationships, assumptions, and scope. So by using a conceptual framework, we can organize our thoughts, collect data, and gain deeper insight into the subject we are studying. Here, you must read this book. He's just referring a book, Research Method for Business Studies. You can check it out if you want to. Then research onion, as we discussed yesterday, research onion layers, methodology, research onions. So research onion will discuss about research onion layers. What is it and what is the meaning of their layers? So you need to be clear research paradigm, interpretivist or positivist or realist, research approach, inductive or deductive, methodology choice, research strategy, time horizon, techniques and procedures. So the first step is to determine the research paradigm, which is the overall perspective or worldwide guideline the study. There are three common, paradigms, interpretivist, positivist, or realist. So second approach is inductive or deductive. You need to decide on the research approach, which determines how you will generate knowledge in your study. So there are two main approaches, inductive and deductive. So as we discussed yesterday as well, inductive approach involves gathering data and theories or generalizations from the observations made. And deductive in this approach, researchers start with existing theories or hypotheses and then gather data to test and confirm them. Then is a methodology choice. Once you have decided on the research approaches, you need to select the specific methods you will use to collect and analyze data. So these methods can include surveys, interviews, experiments, observations, or document analysis. Research strategy outline the overall plan or framework for conducting the studies. Time horizon refers to the duration of your study and when data will be collected. It can be classified as cross-sectional or longitudinal. So cross-section data is collected at a specific point at time, or data is collected over an extended period, allowing for the examination of changes and trends over time. Any questions so far? Okay, so propose techniques for use with quantitative and qualitative data collection analysis. So first one is we'll be discussing primary data and its importance in research. Primary data refers to information that is gathered directly from original or first-hand research. It is collected specifically for your own research purposes. directly from the participants themselves. The objectives or goals of your study determines whether you need to collect primary or secondary data. Primary data is usually collected when you want to obtain new and unique information that is relevant to your specific research topic. To summarize, primary data is information that is gathered firsthand for your research purpose. It is collected directly from the participants and can provide unique insights into your specific research topic. By using primary data, you can focus your analysis on the most relevant information, making it easier to draw accurate conclusions. Then he's talking about secondary data. Secondary data is the data which has been taken from another source without the direct interactions. So this type of data is already available and can be found in various sources such as market research reports, annual reports, trade reports, books, and journals. Secondary data is information that is collected from existing sources without direct interaction. It can be qualitative or quantitative and is commonly found in reports, books, and journals. While working with secondary data can be challenging, it offers numerous advantages and can be a valuable resource for researchers. Remember to critically evaluate these sources and consider any limitations when analyzing secondary data. Any questions so far? If anyone is there? Okay. So types of data, market research data, facts and figures collected and analyzes. So is differentiate, between two data, secondary data and primary data. So obviously there are two types of data, primary and secondary. Data collection is a fundamental step in research that involves gathering information to address research questions or objectives. So researchers employ different methods to collect data, and these methods can be broadly classified into primary or secondary data collection. Secondary data collection, secondary data refers to existing data collecting by someone else for a different purpose, but can be used for new research. Researcher analyze and interpret this data to address their research questions. So primary data, in-depth, new information collected directly. So your own research, in-depth interviews, surveys, focus groups, or social media monitoring. Data analysis. If any question, if anyone is there. A common mistake made by student researcher is to see data analysis as a part of the doing of research. I will worry about it when I have some data, or I won't know how to analyze it until I see my data. By waiting until you have your data before thinking about how to analyze it, you may find yourself in a difficult situation. You might realize that you don't have the right tools or knowledge to analyze the data effectively. This delay can waste valuable time and potentially undermine the quality of your research. So to avoid this pitfall, it is important to plan your data analysis right from the start. Before you even collect your data, think about the types of analysis you will need to perform, consider what statistical methods or software might be appropriate for your research question. This way you can design your data collection process with the analysis in mind, ensuring you gather the necessary information to answer your research questions. Remember that data analysis is not something you can put off until later. It is an essential part of the research process that requires proper planning and consideration. By incorporating data analysis into your research design from the beginning, you will be better equipped to drive meaningful insight from your data and advance your research effectively. Any questions if anyone is there? So data analysis, we will discuss how the techniques you choose the data analysis depend on your research question and research approach. Additionally, we will talk about how the quality of your analysis is influenced by your choice and design of research methods. It is very important to remember two fundamental principles. You can only analyze the data you collect, and your analysis is limited by the form in which the data is collected. So the techniques you employ for data analysis heavily rely on your research question and research approach. When embarking on a research project, you must have a clear understanding of the specific question you want to answer. Then second point, the methods and quality of data analysis are linked to your choice and design of research methods. Imagine you are conducting a survey to gather information from participants. The analysis you can perform is limited to the data you collect. Finally, it is essential to emphasize that you can only analyze the data you have collected. This means that data collection should be conducting with very carefully. Data analysis techniques are chosen based on your research questions and approach. The quality of your analysis is influenced by the design of your research methods. Remember that you can only analyze the data you collect, and the form in which the data is collected determines the scope of your analysis. Quantitative data analysis, key consideration of quantitative data considerations. Obviously, what are your research question and objectives? What key variables are you interested in? What relationships are there between variables? What are the most significant finding that you wish to present to the most significant finding that you wish to present to the reader, and how can be displayed most effectively for impact? Quantitative data, key consideration of quantitative data analysis. So here we will explore some important factors to consider when conducting quantitative data analysis. The process involves examining numerical data to draw meaningful conclusions. So first of all, type of data. It is central to understand the type of data you will be working with. Quantitative data is information that can be expressed in numerical form. Cross-tabulations, also known as contingency tables, can be valuable for answering research questions or achieving research aims. They involves analyzing the relationship between two or more categorical variables. Then statistics, uh, descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics are used to summarize and describe the main features of your data. These statistics provide a clear and concise summary of the data set. Common statistics include measures such as the mean, also known as average, median, middle value, most frequent value. Then a statistical significant. Do you want to test statistical significant? Determining statistical significant involves assessing whether the observed differences or relationship in your data are likely to be genuine and not due to random chances. Then, do you want to carry out hypothesis testing? Hypothesis testing is an essential aspect of quantitative data analysis. It involves formulating research hypotheses and using statistical tests to examine the evidence against these hypotheses. Or do you want to measure the relationship between variables? Relationships between variables, quantitative data analysis also allows us to explore relationships between variables. So correlations and regression are two statistical techniques used for this purpose. Correlation assess the strength and direction of the relationships between two numeric variables, while a regression help us understand how one variable, the independent variable, affects another, the dependent variable. Any questions if anyone is there? Okay, example of raw data and survey. Here example of analyzing using SSP, SPSS, quality of information sharing, level of information sharing, and strategic suppliers, partnership, performance, supply chain. This is example of conceptual framework. Analysis, regression analysis, some examples of regression analysis. So here, as I explained that correlation and regressions are two statistical techniques. So here is an example of regression analysis, which help us understand how one variable, which is independent variable, affects another, which can be dependent variables. So analysis using SPSS. Okay. So next is qualitative data analysis. Key consideration of quality data analysis, meaning how people see the world, context, the world in which people act, process, what actions and activities people do, reasoning why people act and behave the way they do. So meaning, first one is meaning, how people see the world when analyzing qualitative data. It is important to focus on how individuals perceive and interpret the world around them. This involves understanding their experiences, beliefs, values, and emotions. Then context, the world is which in the world in which people act. Context refers to the broader environment or situation in which individuals act and interact. It includes factors such as culture, social norms, physical setting, and historical background. Then process what actions and activities people do. What actions and activities people do. Qualitative data analysis also involves examining the actions and activities of individuals. This can include observing their behaviors, studying their interactions, or examining their narratives. So by analyzing the process, we can gain insights into how people engage in specific actions and the patterns that emerge from their behaviors. And finally, reasoning why people act and behave the way they do. Why people act and behave the way they do, understanding the reasoning behind people's actions and behaviors is important in qualitative data analysis. This involves exploring the underlying motivations, beliefs, and intentions that drive individuals' decisions-making process. Qualitative data analysis, identifying themes, begin with big picture and list themes that emerge. Coding qualitative data, reduce data to manageable forms, often done by writing notes on cards or sorting into themes. Treat data as answer to open-ended questions, ask data-specific questions, assign code for answers, record theoretical notes. Identifying themes. When analyzing qualitative data, we start by looking at the big picture. We examine the data carefully and identify recurring patterns, topics, or ideas known as themes. So these themes emerge from the data itself and help us understand the underlying messages and meanings. Then he's talking about coding qualitative data. Once we have identified the themes, we move on the coding the data. Coding is the process of assigning labels or codes to segments of data that are relevant to significant specific themes. So we break down the data into smaller parts such as codes or paragraphs and assign codes to represented those parts. Then treats data as answer to open-ended questions. So here, to analyze qualitative data effectively, we need to treat it as it were answers to open-ended questions. We ask ourselves specific questions about the data, such as what is the main message conveyed, what are the common experiences or perspectives shared. This approach helps us explore deeper into the meaning behind the data. Any questions so far, if anyone is there? Okay, so data interpretation. Answer these 4 questions. What important in the data? Why is it important? What can be learned from it? So what? Anyone is there? If anybody knows about these questions. Okay, what is important in the data? When we examine a database, a data set, it is fundamental to identify what is important within it. This involves understanding the variables, patterns, and trends present in the data. So why is it important? Next question. Question number 2, data holds importance because it enables us to make informed decisions. It provides evidence and supports the development of theories, strategies, and policies. What can we learn from it? Third question, data offers a wealth of knowledge. Through interpretations, we can extract valuable information about various phenomena such as consumer behavior, market trends, scientific discoveries, and social patterns. And so what? Question number 4, so what? The final question asks us to consider the implication of the data interpretation. So once we have look insights from the data, we need to understand the practical significance of our findings. How can these insights be applied in real life scenarios? So these steps bridges the gap between data analysis and decisions making, ensuring that the knowledge gained from our data interpretation is effectively utilized. Any question if anyone is there? Okay, so data interpretation, key consideration of data interpretation, focus on analysis that answer your immediate research hypothesis. It can also be worth digging deeper into your data. Be prepared to defend your statistical choices, because it's not uncommon for supervisors to get the statistics wrong. So how far to take your analysis? Focus on analysis that answer your immediate research hypothesis. When interpreting data, it is important to stay focused on the specific research questions or hypotheses you aim to address. This will help you avoid getting lost in the sea of data and ensures your analysis aligns with your research objectives. So dig a deeper into your data while addressing your immediate research hypothesis is important. It can also be valuable to dig deeper into your data. This means exploring additional patterns, correlations, or trends that may emerge during the analysis process. So be prepared to defend your statistical choices, because it is not uncommon for supervisor to get the statistics wrong. Interpreting data often involved applying statistical methods to draw meaningful conclusions. So it is fundamental to be prepared to defend the statistical choice you make. Sometimes a supervisor or colleagues may have misconceptions about statistics. So it is essential to explain and justify your approach. So how far to take your analysis? Determining the extent of your analysis is an important consideration. While it is tempting to analyze data extensively, it is key to strike a balance. Consider the scope of your research, available resources, and the depth of insight needed to answer your research questions. Any questions so far, if anyone is there? Okay, comparison with existing literature. Compare and contrast your finding with existing literature. Use literature review section. Compare your research with research that has been done on closely related topic. When comparing our research with existing studies, we found several similarities and differences. These similarities validate our findings and provide additional support to the existing body of knowledge. So it is very important to note that our research also revealed some significant differences from the previous studies. Research findings are always interpreted in the context of some prior knowledge. So these differences may arise due to various factors such as differences in research methodology, sample sizes, or specific context of our study. So it is essential to acknowledge these differences and critically evaluate the potential reasons behind them. This allows us to contribute to the ongoing scientific discourse and expand our understanding of the topic. Comparing our research finding with existing literature is essential step in the scientific process. It allows us to contextualize our results within the existing knowledge, identify similarities and differences, and contribute to the ongoing scientific discourse. So by doing so, we can build upon the work of others, validate our findings, and pave the way for future research. Comparison and existing literature. So check if the research gap is addressed by relating to research objectives. So consider whether the research gap has been adequately addressed. A research gap refers to an area in the field that has not been extensively studied or lacks sufficient evidence or understanding. So by identifying and addressing these gaps, researchers contribute to the advancement of knowledge. Similarities and variations uh, between different works. Similarities refer to common aspect or approaches found across the literature, while variations highlights differences in methodologies, perspectives, or conclusions. So it is importance of academic source, academic success by conducting a comprehensive comparison of existing literature. Researchers demonstrate their ability to critically analyze and synthesize information. This skill is highly valued in academia and can contribute to a higher market and the overall success of our research and ours. So present the proposal using suitable methods. Chapter 1, Introduction, Background Study, Research Rationale and Research Gap, Aims, Objectives, Research Questions, Research Hypothesis. And Chapter 2, Literature Review. The second chapter of proposal is the literature review. This section examines existing academic theories and research related to the topic. So it involves the academic theories, critical review, conceptual framework. Then we come to methodology. Methodology, use research onion and explain its components. Here. Components with the proper justifications. So we will discuss the methodology that will be used for the research. We will be utilizing the research onion frameworks, which is a comprehensive model that helps in structuring the research process. It consists of various layers, as we discussed earlier as well, each representing a different aspect of the research, like a research philosophy, research approach, research strategy, time horizon, data collections, data analysis, and ethical considerations. Then chapter 4, which is project plan, your plan for the dissertations. In chapter 4, we will outline the project plan for the dissertation. So this plan will serve as a roadmap for the for the entire research process. So we will present the plan in the form of a lecture using simple and easy to understand language. So the project plan will include the elements like research objectives, research questions, literature review, methodologies, timelines, resources, and limitations. So by presenting the project plan in a clear and concise manner, we aim to provide a comprehensive overview of the entire research process. So this will enable us to stay focused and effectively carry out our research objectives. That's all for today. So any questions or anything else if you want to ask, if anyone is there? Okay, so our next software will be about assignment, which will be on next Saturday at 10 o'clock. So if there is any question, please drop me an email at yasir@ukversity.co.uk, and see you by next Saturday at 10 o'clock. So bye for now.